We're getting ready, and so is Player of the Year candidate Drew Gooden, KU, Texas Tech, coming up momentarily from Lawrence. Earlier today, Texas outscores Colorado 104-95. TJ Ford, 22 points, 12 assists. Also, it's the Sooners on top of the Aggies, 68-64. And Nebraska played very well in beating Kansas State 99-82. Coming up, Kansas, Texas Tech, number 2 against number 25. Enjoy it, everybody. Back with more after this.
Allen Fieldhouse in Lawrence, it's been a campground for the past week. Why? Well, these students wanted to get a front row seat. They're here, they're loud, and they're ready to watch Bobby Knight and the Red Raiders. Kansas fans have this question on the tip of their tongue, and from the opening tip, the Jayhawks come out firing, leading the nation in field goal percentage and second in points, led by Drew Gooden. KU has plenty. Gooden, the D'Artagnan of the Three Musketeers, along with Collison and Heinrich. And Boshi makes it 4 with a swishbuckling array of trays. So the question begs to be asked. The answer may still be 2 months away. Hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong, along with Chris Piper. Roy Williams likes to say they still have the back 9 to play for this team. But what a start, 9-0 in this conference, Chris. And when you look at what they've done so far at the turn, you got to like where Kansas is.
Well, they've really been dominating, especially as of late. They've left no question as who the better team has. But the thing you like about this Kansas team, intensity. They play for 40 minutes. They come right at you.
Speaking of intensity, how about Bobby Knight?
Well, Bobby Knight, he's as intense as he comes. How about what he's done at Texas Tech? Took a program with 4 straight losing seasons, turned them around, top 20 team. He's had some success here at Allen Fieldhouse, although not as much against Roy Williams.
So Bobby Knight and Roy Williams going head-to-head again, and so far Chris is right. Roy has had the advantage. He's won 5 of 6 meetings against Bobby Knight coach teams. Today's Big 12 game is being brought to you by Phillips 66, where we put the best in our super clean gasoline so you get the most out of your car. Think smart, think performance, think Phillips 66. By the chicken strip dinner only at Sonic, America's Drive-In. By Cooper Tires, a lot of mileage for the money. Cooper Tires, drive on. By Shelter Insurance, for your life, home, car, farm, or business. Shelter Insurance will always be there for you. By the United States Army, an army of one. And by your local Jeep dealers. Jeep, there's only one. Texas Tech huddling, getting ready to take on the second-ranked team in the country, the Kansas Jayhawks. Here come the starting lineups, and a bit of a change for the Red Raiders. Starting at point today, you see him at the bottom of the list, Nathan Dowdney, a walk-on freshman. Dowdney replacing Will Chavis at the point. Also for Texas Tech, Valdez did not make the trip. He will not be here in uniform today. As far as Kansas is concerned, you've got Collison, Gooden, and Heinrich, 3 of the best in the conference. Boshi, the best at 3-point shooting in the history of the conference. And Aaron Miles, just a freshman, leading the way. So Bobby Knight brings his team in. Bobby Knight with 780 career wins. As far as Kansas is concerned, it's not just the trio of juniors plus Boshi, the senior, but look at this trio of freshmen. Miles, Langford, and Simeon. They have all contributed and all have done a great job.
Well, they've had to step up for Kansas and give them big minutes. You know, these guys have given Roy Williams a steady bench presence, and also Aaron Miles at the point, obviously doing the job there.
Roy Williams likes to tell the story the first time that he went head-to-head against Bobby Knight when Bobby Knight brought his Indiana Hoosiers to Allen Fieldhouse. And he said he had his wife Wanda cook up some brownies, took him over to the hotel, and Bobby's line to him was, well, thanks for the brownies, but where's the ice cream?
Added a few choice words in there amongst them, but that's right, you can't have cookies without ice cream. Bobby Knight let him know about it.
Well, Andy Ellis is letting the league know that he is back. Andy Ellis in his senior campaign, he's averaging over 17 points a game and over 7 rebounds, but nobody can top Drew Gooden. He's averaging almost 21 points to lead the conference, plus 11 rebounds. The tip goes to Kansas in their home white uniforms. One of the things about KU has been their quick starts. They have really done a job on their opponents in the first 5 minutes of each game this year.
Well, they've come out just attacked immediately offensively and have found ways to the basket. make something happen against the set defense.
Kansas knowing that their looks today offensively are going to be tougher against this Texas Tech team. And the shot taken by Storozinski won't go. Here come the Jayhawks. They want to run if they can. Heinrich, he loses the handle. It goes out of bounds. It will stay with Kansas. It went off Texas Tech. Well, you see Bobby Knight's team. It's been a tale of two cities, hasn't it?
Well, on the road, Texas Tech just has struggled offensively, but at home, they've found a way to put some points on the board. You know, a team like Texas Tech, they're searching for confidence. They still, you know, they've won a lot of games this season, but still trying to find that cure. At home, you've got the home crowd to boost you. On the road, you've got to find it internally.
Heinrich can't hit the open jumper, and here come the Red Raiders. What about pace of games? You know Kansas wants to push it. How about Texas Tech?
Well, Kansas loves to push it up and down the floor. Texas Tech, though, they're going to be steady on offense, patient, run their passing game, try and keep the floor spread out offensively. They've got good matchups, though, against the Kansas guards.
Gooden there for the rebound. Here comes Boshi. Boshi finds Heinrich. Heinrich, he has hit 70% of his three-pointers in the last 7 games.
Well, he started out the season slow, but everybody knew he'd come around. You know, it's the shot quality, though, that he's had. He's had good looks at the basket. And Kansas, so many times, they don't get what's called transition buckets, but they get early buckets by pushing.
Andy Ellis shows his range, his 12th three-pointer of the year. That ties it at 3.
Well, Andy Ellis really gives them a great big man inside because of his ability to step out on the floor.
And then Gooden with the exclamation point. The pass from Miles and another assist. He averages 6 a game.
A nice isolation by Kansas inside, bringing the weak side big man out. Everybody there for the help.
And Boshi there for the help. Able to pick it off. Miles streaks to the basket.
Well, that's what Kansas does so well. They will attack the basket on a turnover, right at it, and trying to finish. Bobby Knight, Texas Tech, not happy to hit 3 guys back, and Aaron Miles still able to find a lane.
Now Emmett tries to answer, and a foul on Kansas. Gooden picks up his first.
Well, Kansas offensively, they do a little spread in the floor offensively as well. Look at the weak side help for Texas Tech. There is none. And that's because Kansas, such great shooters on the perimeter, you can't leave them, and you isolate the big man inside. And then when Kansas gets the turnover, you know what's going to happen automatically. Pushing the ball down the floor, looking to finish.
We got 3 guards on this Kansas team, in Miles, Heinrich, and Boshi, and they've all had point guard experience.
Well, and that gives Kansas great speed as well, able to push the ball. You know, a lot of people haven't talked about the fact of one of the reasons Kansas is so fast down the floor now is because they do have Heinrich in a position he doesn't have to bring the ball up. They can kick him down the floor and passing the ball, really able to beat that defense.
Good defense there by Powell. And here comes Kasib Powell. Nice crossover dribble and a great pass. Storozinski, but really credit the play to Kasib Powell.
Now, Kasib Powell, he leads this Texas Tech team assist-wise. Aaron Miles, a little freshman mistake there, caught himself up in the air.
What could Bobby Knight be upset about with his team tying it at 7?
Well, he's not happy about some defense early there, but how about the nice look from Kasib Powell, giving Kansas a little taste of their own medicine. Powell, Storozinski finding a way to get to the basket.
Well, both Storozinski and Powell, you fans of basketball in the state of Kansas may recognize those 2 names. Storozinski played at Dodge City Community College and Powell at Butler County. 7-7 our score. We're under 17 to go first half.
Well, look at the matchups on the floor right now. Andre Emmett guarding Aaron Miles, the freshman guard, 6'1". Andre Emmett, 6'5". You got Kasib Powell at the other guard spot, 6'6". Nathan Downey at 6'4". And that really gives Texas Tech good size, but on the other end, it gives Kansas the speed advantage.
Look at that, Kansas, 4 turnovers already. That's the pressure of the Red Raider defense.
Well, and also Nathan Downey at the point guard spot. He's just a freshman walk-on. But a nice look there to get Andre Emmett to the basket.
Wow, Andre Emmett averaging over 18 a game. He averaged single digits last year as a freshman.
Well, how about the difference in the game for Andre Emmett? He didn't even start last time that these 2 teams met. Still had a good game, 9 points in that game against Kansas. But this year, a little more confidence, the ability to get to the basket. Really likes this freelance offense, the motion offense that Indiana. I knew I was going to say that. Bobby Knight, you're so used to Bobby Knight of Indiana at Texas Tech.
Chris, I do want want you, though, to try to pick apart that motion offense, try to explain it to our viewers today. What is it about that offense that gives the defense so much trouble?
Well, something that Larry Brown, when he was at Kansas years ago, ran quite a bit of it as well.
Well, then you'd be a good authority on the offense. Emmett, a pass to the basket, and Coach Williams can't be happy about that. The basket will count. The foul will be on Emmett.
One of the things that you knew that Texas Tech was going to try to do, and that's put the ball down the floor. Andre Emmett has the ability to get to the basket. And against Kansas, you have to know when to pull up, because generally you're not going to find an open lane all the way to the basket.
Well, a run here for Texas Tech, and they've taken a 4-point lead, an 8-0 run for the Red Raiders. And we've got a timeout. So Kansas knocked back on their heels a little bit by Bobby Knight and the Red Raiders. It's Texas Tech leading by 4. There's Matt Gogol, handed an autographed basketball. Well, handed a big check and a trophy just a couple of weeks ago in Pebble Beach, too, wasn't he?
How about that? Swinging the club made up for that loss that he had out there a couple of years ago when he gave it up to Tiger Woods. But nice job by Matt Gogol.
Well, he nourished potential. Brought to you by Cargill. So has Frederick Johnson of Oklahoma State. Look at his points, rebounds, and blocks in his career. Cargill, because the better we're fed, the more we hunger to achieve.
Well, you talked about Kansas having the early starts. How about Texas Tech right now with a 4-point lead?
An 8-0 run. Now Gooden. Boy, how do you block that? How do you stop that?
Well, you don't. That's why Kansas does the inbound play, specifically to get Drew Gooden.
Simeon, who's now guarding Storazinski, out on the court for the first time for the Jayhawks.
Watch the lane inside for Texas Tech. Generally, you're not going to see, but maybe one person in there, and not going to be there very often. Motion offense, you like to keep that floor spread.
Powell pulls up. He's fouled. Count the basket. Boshi got him on the arm. So Kasip Powell will go to the line.
Well, tough matchup there for Kansas and Jeff Boshi. Boshi giving up a lot of size to Kasip Powell. Kasip Powell able to handle the ball. Plays the point at times for Texas Tech.
Chris, a lot of guys talk about matchup problems for the opponents against Kansas, but Texas Tech presents a couple of matchup problems for KU today.
Well, size-wise, definitely. Texas Tech has a size advantage. Look to see them try and post up Andre Emmett and Kasip Powell, isolate against the smaller Kansas guards. But when you give up one advantage on one end, you get another advantage on the other side. Kansas, much quicker on the floor, going to have to utilize that, try and create more turnovers from this Texas Tech team.
Boshi takes a three. Got it. A switch from Boshi, and Kansas pulls within 2.
Nice patience by Kansas. You know, the other night against Kansas State, watching them play that game, really executed their offense every possession down where they were in a set defense type situation, a half-court offense scenario.
Here comes Miles, the block from Simeon, and he'll get the payoff, or will he? No, he missed the jam. And then Powell Storazinski throws it away, and Bobby Knight not happy about that turn of events. What a block inside, though, as Simeon actually blocked himself.
I was going to say, Wayne Simeon's happy that you're calling it a block, but it was actually the rim that pinned up there.
That's exactly right. Well, Simeon made the good deflection on the pass. His parents saying, well, good defensive play, not so happy about the offensive end of it.
His dad not too thrilled with that play by his son, Wayne Simeon. You've seen him make plenty of good plays, though, as well.
Boy, he sure has. Gooden, spin move, can't hit. Ellis, he lost the handle. It goes out of bounds. It'll belong to Texas Tech.
Boy, great defense by Powell Storazinski inside. Really didn't take any of the fakes that Drew Gooden had against him. And also, he had nice help inside. Drew Gooden looking inside the lane, seeing if he had a seam, but actually 2 other Texas Tech jerseys standing there in the way. Good weak side help from Texas Tech.
Now Ellis. And that's perfect for Ellis. Remember, he had a 3 early. So he's got 5 and back to a 4-point Tech lead. Heinrich comes right back to score for KU. You know, looking at Texas Tech, Chris, Andy Ellis said it before the game. He said, if we come up with the game plan that Coach Knight designs for us and we execute that plan, we've got a good chance to win today. That's how much confidence they have in their coach, and why not? And a foul, this one going against Texas Tech. Kennedy Ellis.
And that's exactly right, though. I mean, they understand that when they step on the floor, all they have to do is try and do what Coach Knight tells them to do. Now, Tech team. The thing that's hurt them on the road has been turnovers so far. They've done a pretty good job of not turning the ball over.
Now, speaking of turnovers, that's another one for Kansas, and they now have 5 for the day.
A little misread there between Kirk Heinrich and Wayne Simeon. Kirk Heinrich thought Wayne Simeon's coming out. Wayne Simeon thought he was going to the basket.
Talking to Coach Williams before the game, talking about how focused his team has been, getting up for every opponent, and he kind of went knock on wood. Hopes that continues, but he does like the leadership on this team.
Well, he feels comfortable with this team. I think he understands that they're going to make some plays sometimes that he's not happy with, but 95% of the time they're going to do the right thing.
Doudney, he can light it up from outside. Doudney hits the 3.
Well, everybody lighting up right now for Texas Tech. 7 for 9. Kansas can't be happy with their defense.
Tech with their biggest lead right now. It's 5 and another turnover. No, saved by Boshi. Almost a turnover, but Boshi tracked it down on the wing.
Now, Jeff Boshi has been so consistent for this Kansas team. You talk about Drew Gooden, Kirk Heinrich, Nick Collison, but the guy, when you take a look at his numbers game to game, other than a couple games for Jeff Boshi, he's just been there making plays for him, kind of staying out of the limelight.
Simeon with a block. Here comes Langford, and he can't find the handle. Jayhawks looking a bit out of sync right now. Coach Williams still applauds the effort, though, by the Jayhawks, but because of this block here inside.
Well, a good Collison as well keeps Powell Storzinski down on his feet, not able to explode to the basket, and it allows Wayne Simeon to keep tracking the play and get in for the block shot.
Both teams actually shooting very well here in the early going.
Now, patience by Texas Tech offensively. They're getting their shots in the half-court offense, whereas Kansas has been successful in the transition.
Storzinski had an impressive rebound, but then early lowered the boom on Heinrich.
Now, Powell Storzinski plays a tough round of basketball, and he just throws one on Kirk Heinrich right there. Obvious charge. But, again, Texas Tech getting on the offensive glass.
Tracked down by Powell.
Well, I haven't seen Kansas this sloppy with the ball in the half-court offense in about 5 games. Actually, take it back to the UCLA game.
Downey. Yeah, they did. That's their last loss. Since then, the Jayhawks have won 7 in a row. Storzinski fighting for it. It'll stay with Texas Tech. We've got a timeout, and it's still Texas Tech with the lead by 3. We're back after this from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company.
The new TV52, your entertainment getaway.
Texas Tech shooting 58% from the field, even though the Jayhawks are shooting 64%. It's Texas Tech Red Raiders on top by 3. Now let's take a moment to thank our corporate partners. Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big 12. Cooper Tires, drive on. And by MBNA, the official credit card sponsor of the Big 12. Andre Emmett, who's leading the way for Texas Tech so far this year. And in this game, he's got a half dozen points. Emmett with the ball.
Well, Texas Tech with 6 turnovers already in the game, but the fact that they've only missed 5 shots has given them the lead. Texas Tech being patient offensively, doing a nice job of moving that defense, and then when they do have shots, they're hitting them. Easy game, isn't it?
I should say so.
All you got to do is hit a shot.
On this motion offense, with the shot clock now down to 4, they better put themselves into motion in a hurry. Heinrich's got that one, who's partially deflected out front. Langford, left-handed.
Nice move, had to adjust in midair, had the defense there for the shot, block, and just switched. That's what Keith Langford gives Kansas, a guy that can put it on the floor and take it to the basket.
Powell, boy, you talk about catch and fire. That's exactly what Powell did.
Great movement away from the ball from Kasib Powell. He read the defense, had the head turn, slash to the basket. A nice look inside.
Andy Ellis likes to say about their offense, it's hard to scout us because even we don't know exactly what we're going to do because of the motion.
And that's exactly right. That's what you do in a motion offense. You read the defense, how they're setting up on a pick, where they're at, throw to the basket, flare to the corner.
That shot taken by Mikey Marshall off target. Emmett takes it right to the rack. How many layups now for Texas Tech? And back to their 5-point advantage.
Kansas really concerned with Andre Emmett's ability to put the ball on the floor. Nick Collison's shown a little bit of that himself as well. But, you know, right now in the Texas Tech lineup, you've got Andre Emmett playing the 4 spot. That means Nick Collison's going to guard him. Andre Emmett's going to bring the ball out on the floor a little bit and use his speed advantage.
Marshall off to the wing. Powell forced that one up. Simeon with a rebound. And a whistle and a charging foul on Langford.
I'll tell you what, great recovery by Andre Emmett that time. Kirk Heinrich takes it to the basket. Andre Emmett shows to help. And then when the kick is out to the side, Andre Emmett is immediately there and does not allow Langford the chance to shoot the ball. Instead makes him put the ball on the floor out of control. And the charge drawn by Mikey Marshall.
Kansas 8 turnovers now. Look at that. They're almost halfway to their average for a game and still 9 minutes left in this half. Emmett. Boy, you talk about a guy. Emmett and Ellis. The E-train, if you will, for Texas Tech. Those two guys have really adopted this new style of offense.
Andre Emmett, the difference between him from last year to this year is just tremendous. Last year, he was kind of guy that just kind of hung around. You really didn't know he was in the game, but this year, he is there on every possession.
Miles, an air ball. Terry, Gooden, Langford, blocked by Andy Ellis.
Boy, Texas just out-manning Kansas inside. Tough defense and hitting shots on the other end. Kansas extremely flat right now in this game, and Texas Tech making them pay.
As Bobby Knight looks up at that scoreboard, he sees his Red Raiders have their biggest lead. It'll stay with Kansas. Another substitution for KU. Look at the frustration, and you can read it in the body language of the Jayhawks. Heinrich coming back in.
Well, just not finding any openings inside against Texas Tech, and you know that's one of the places that Kansas has been so successful is the inside game. And Texas Tech has been a pretty good job of countering.
Gooden stops the run by the Red Raiders. Powell. Heinrich got over there to help. And here comes Heinrich. Well, he just went right around Marshall. Drew the contact. Heinrich will go to the line. Boy, did he blow by Mikey Marshall?
How about the move to switch from the left hand, just a little crossover, exploded to the right. And right on past Mikey Marshall to the glass. You know, no question that Kirk Heinrich was taking that ball all the way to the rim as soon as he got it.
Heinrich, his last 7 games, I mentioned the 70% from three-point land. Heinrich, he had coming off a game where he scored 26 against Kansas State. Well, his 2 free throws make it a 3-point lead for Texas Tech. Well, we're going to take you back to 1988. That's the last time the Kansas Jayhawks won a national title. The Army of One, brought to you by the United States Army, beating Oklahoma after losing to the Sooners a couple of times in the regular season, whooping them at Kemper Arena 72-58. And speaking of an Army of One, Chris Piper was that Army.
Hey, how about that? 5 points. Wow. Wait a minute. I think I had 8. That was my average for the year. I had 8 points in the game. Give me a break. 3 over my average. Danny Manning, he was fantastic. No question about it. He was an Army of One.
Yeah, but you were a real integral part of that team as well. And I know you're modest about it, but you were.
Well, you know, the numbers in that game was kind of surprising. Besides Danny Manning, the rest of the guys that played shot 80% for that game. So had to play the best to beat that great Oklahoma team.
Heinrich with a steal. He's fouled. So Heinrich has taken over the last few minutes of this game.
Maybe a little wake-up call, not only for the crowd for the players, but for the crowd as well. And Kurt Heinrich, a lot of talk about him being the guy that this Kansas team absolutely has to have. He makes plays happen, gets down the floor, and no question, when he gets the ball in the open court, he is going straight to the rim without any stops.
One of those guys that's faster than you might think.
He really is. Speed. He really worked on the offseason, getting his leg strength up, his stamina. You watch him from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. He is still going 100 miles an hour.
So that traditional three-pointer makes it 27-all. Kansas and Heinrich on a 7-0 run. You see other scores coming in from around the nation. And a 5-second call. Texas Tech got lost. Ronald Ross with a freshman mistake.
Well, Ronald Ross's freshman mistake was that he was looking only down at the floor where he was. The defense, he had nowhere to go, and instead of just picking up the ball and trying to pass it, he was trying to decide what he was going to do.
Gooden hits a three, only his 5th of the year. A 10-0 Kansas run.
Kansas defensive intensity about 3 times what it has been so far in this game. All of a sudden now Texas Tech going to have a little problems running that motion offense. It gets a little more intense Kansas defense.
They've turned up the volume defensively. This crowd is woken from their slumber. Emmett can't hit. And again, credit the defense. Tracked down by Powell off the glass. No. Gooden with the rebound.
Well, I tell you what, and Andre Hammond hasn't gotten any breaks either. Every shot he shot about the last 3 times, he's had a body on him, a little bit of contact.
Second block by Ellis in the game. From the wing, that's way short by Ellis.
Andy Ellis been in the whole first half, no breaks, playing against big guys inside. The legs are the first to go.
Heinrich stays red hot. He's 2 of 2 outside the arc, and Heinrich and the Jayhawks on their feet.
Well, Kansas on a little run, getting their defense to create the offense. And a shot from Heinrich in the corner to the 3, and he's talking about, give me the ball. I am ready to go. Kurt Heinrich, once he starts seeing some open looks, you got to find him. He has been red hot the last 3 games, as Dave mentioned earlier, getting that percentage up above 40%, now 46% on the season from the 3.
Boy, it's close to 50 now, Heinrich, as he is now 39 of 82 on the year from three-point land. Kirk Heinrich with 13 first-half points. As you look at Allen Fieldhouse, packed out, and boy, this is a tough ticket here in town. They were all over around Allen Fieldhouse today with Chris Piper, Dave Armstrong, and all the ticket brokers were out today trying to somehow get people into their seats here at Allen Fieldhouse. And Bobby Knight has watched Kirk Heinrich and the Jayhawks on a 13-0 run, and as he looks up at the scoreboard, it's a different view now.
Well, and Bobby Knight, he's the reason why this has been a tough ticket. Immediately when he was hired at Texas Tech and people looked at the schedule for Kansas and saw that Texas Tech was coming here, that's the ticket they wanted. That's saying a lot when you've got Missouri coming in town and Oklahoma as well.
No question. Ellis for 3, and he hits it, his second three-pointer of the game.
Well, that was one of the things that Kansas was worried about. Andy Ellis taking Kansas big man out on the floor. He's got Wayne Simeon on him right now.
Count the basket. Collison comes right back.
You know, Andy Ellis, a perfect big man in this motion offense for Texas Tech. He doesn't have to be inside. He can draw the defense out on the perimeter. And big men generally aren't used to going out there and playing tough defense in their face. Andy Ellis, a guy that can step out and hit the outside shot. He's hit 13 threes on the season.
Collison going for the three-pointer. That's way off target. And then Simeon up over the back of Powell with the foul. Coach Knight, when asked about his team exceeding expectations, he simply actually says yours, not mine. He expected this team to play well this year. Boshi strips the pocket of Ellis. Now Miles. Boy, they do make you pay on the turnover, Kansas. And now KU with their biggest lead at 7.
Well, you know, it's always been my thought that great offensive teams are great defensive teams because the easiest way to score is against a defense that's not set. Kansas under Roy Williams has always been under that philosophy. You create your offense off your defense.
Dowdney for 3. And Texas Tech hanging around because of their three-point play today.
What a half Nathan Dowdney's having. Got to start here this afternoon in a great environment and has stepped up with 2 threes for Tech.
Collison with a little hook.
Now points coming a little easier now for Kansas.
Hammett. And he's pushed by Heinrich. Foul on Heinrich.
Well, earlier we saw Andre Emmett on the outside. Now we see him going on the inside. Kansas with the defense. Jeff Boshi collapsing inside to help on Andy Ellis, and that gets him back out on the break. And you said it, Dave. Kansas will make you pay once you get a turnover. They'll get down and finish the play. Watch now, Andre Emmett, the matchups that he's got. Earlier we saw him taking Nick Collison out on the floor, putting the ball on the floor and taking it to the basket. Now he's got Keith Langford inside. Watch for Bobby Knight and Texas Tech to try and post up Emmett.
Will Chavis in the lineup for the first time. He's the one with the ball. Dowdney again. That one was on target, just a little short. Tracked down by Langford. Here comes Ballard. Almost stolen by Dowdney. That's one of the things Langford has struggled with this year, the three-point shot, but what effort on the rebound. Heinrich hasn't struggled, and he doesn't with that one.
Great decision by Keith Langford, putting the ball on the floor, taking it inside of the basket. Instead of trying to create something against the defense in there, 2 Texas Tech defenders, he finds the open Heinrich on the perimeter.
Heinrich with 16 first-half points. Emmett. That wouldn't quite go. And Simeon wise to not grab it off the rim. Langford runs the floor. Blocked by Emmett. What a great defensive play by Texas Tech. And we've got a timeout. Boy, the pace has quickened. So is the heart rate of Bobby Knight. 42-33 Kansas. Back after this from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company.
In a Big 12 basketball with Phillips 66 Shoot for the Loot 2002. Enter at any participating Phillips 66 stores for your chance at $40,000 cash. As grand prize winner, you'll receive a thrilling trip to Kansas City for the Phillips 66 Big 12 basketball tournament, $2,002 of Phillips 66 Super Clean gasoline, and a chance to shoot for the loot, plus thousands of other prizes from SBC and 7-Up. So get to your local Phillips 66 and shoot for the loot today.
To you by Phillips 66, where we put the best in our super clean gasoline so you get the most out of your car. Think smart, think performance, think Phillips 66. Kansas, the last 4 minutes, have taken over this game in a 22-4 run, and Bobby Knight not happy with not only his team, but some of the calls made by the officials and his assistants. His son, Pat, trying to keep him around here in Lawrence today. Pat was on that Indiana team last time Bobby Knight was at Allen Fieldhouse. Gooden with a little jump hook. Gooden with 11. He's in double figures again. He's been in double figures every game.
Well, you don't have to be a genius to know what Kansas is going to do after about every timeout. Let's get the ball inside to Drew Gooden.
Ballard floats it up. Langford gets it to Gooden.
the decision there just to throw the ball up. He knew he had Drew Gooden trailing. He got Drew Gooden on the team. Throw the ball in the basket. Let him go get it.
Chavis on Heinrich. Faces the double team. Heinrich got his hand on the ball. A collision. Ball poked back. Dowdney's got it.
Powell Storazinski back in the game for Texas Tech. He's got 2 fouls.
Oh, chip shot missed by Dowdney, but he stripped Langford after the rebound. Now Dowdney for 3. That's the way to get back in the good graces.
How about Nathan Dowdney? He is flat out playing. Freshman walk-on.
He's got 11, Dowdney.
From Rockwall, Texas. A little better than a walk-on, though. He's a kid that can play some basketball, but he wanted to play at Texas Tech, and they didn't have a scholarship. And tell you what, he has given them some big minutes.
Yeah, he turned down a scholarship at the University of Tulsa, Dowdney, to go to Texas Tech. He wanted to play for Bobby Knight.
Yeah, in today's world, you know, the walk-on term doesn't mean a whole lot. A lot of kids, if they'll go play somewhere that they want to, if that school doesn't have a scholarship, they'll walk on, play for a year, then get a scholarship.
Because Sid Powell count the basket, but a foul on Powell. Now coming up at halftime of the American Century halftime report, Doug Bell beyond to tell you the 3 other games in the Big 12 so far today. And the Sooners win on the road today and try to keep pace with Kansas. That makes Oklahoma 8-2 in the Big 12. And of course, scores and highlights from around the top 25.
How about Texas A&M? Get beat, just hammered at Baylor, but yet go into Texas and win in Texas. Played Kansas pretty tough in College Station, and then gave Oklahoma everything they wanted as well. Young team there at Texas A&M, struggling to find consistency. Pete Langford getting a lot of minutes here in the first half, and he's been on the end of Roy Williams' wrath about 4 different occasions already.
Hammond after the Langford miss. Look at the trio of Kansas players surrounding Emmett. And a travel on the part of Storazinski. Bobby Knight looks for some help down the bench. He's going to bring back his senior, Andy Ellis.
Well, a minute left in the game, or the first half as well. You want to set Storazinski down anyway so he doesn't get free fouls. He's going to set because of the last play and the fact that he's got 2 fouls.
Oh, a composed Bobby Knight, his team trailing 49-38. Texas Tech led by 7 once upon a time in this half.
About 49 points. I mean, it's almost a ho-hum effort for Kansas to put 49 points in the first half.
Consider their last 3 games. They've been over 100 twice and at 98 in the other game. And they're on that kind of pace again here today. Boshi for 3. Oh, man. How many weapons does this team have?
I'll tell you what, that's the thing about Kansas. They have 5 offensive weapons on the floor. Now, Aaron Miles, the guy who only averages 6 points, but that's because he doesn't have to take shots and realizes that. He can score as well.
Well, you mentioned 5 threats. They had 5 guys in double figures in that win Monday night over Kansas State. With 1 to shoot it, Heinrich gives it up to Gooden. It won't count even if it went. It came after the buzzer. But what a way to close the half, and it has Bobby Knight chagrined as he heads to his locker room. Kansas running their way in on a 15-4 run to command Texas Tech. 52-38 at the half. Now let's send it back to the American Century halftime report with Doug Bell.
Dave, thank you. Earlier this morning down in Austin, Texas, TJ Ford is, of course, leading the nation in assists. And let's see how he and the rest of the Texas team did with that early morning wake-up call against Colorado. The alarm went off early, and off and running were the Longhorns. Check out TJ here with the drive and the hoop. TJ looking good. That made it a 12-point game. Then TJ Ford pulls up. He's shooting more and more as he's getting more comfortable running this offense. Defenses are going against him. The nice dish inside to James Thomas. TJ with the impressive double-double. 22 points, 12 assists, Texas 104-95. They did score 102 against Baylor back on January the 12th, but that's their highest output of the season. Meantime, Kansas State at Nebraska. Cornhuskers are tough at home. Texas Tech will tell you that. Gary Cohorn from way outside, a man in his face, no less. That made it a 16-point game. Second half, more Huskers. Brendan Clemens drives to the layup, count it, and the foul. That made it 79-63. Late in the game, Jack Muehlheisen lays it in. Nebraska wins easily, 99-82. Telling you, the Cornhuskers are tough at home. Fourth-ranked Oklahoma on the road at Texas A&M. This was closer than many people thought. Aaron McGee gets free, knocks down the J 45-33. Abby Arah, the nice crossover dribble. He is so tough to guard. And then Aaron again. Hey, what happened to the foul there? Either way, bodies were flying in this one. This was a physical Big 12 war, and A&M made it close, but in the end, Oklahoma wins 68-64. Our score at the half, Red Raiders led early, but it's been all Kansas lately, 52-38 at the half. Welcome back to the American Century Halftime Report, brought to you by American Century, managing money for individuals and institutions for over 40 years. Time now for the Phillips 66 Rookie of the Week. K-State's Purvis Pasco took honors as the Wildcats pulled 2 upsets last week. Our score at the half, the Jayhawks are bombing the Red Raiders 52-38. Well, 2 top 25 teams going head-to-head in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's see how the ACC and CUSA matched up today. Of course, Skip Prosser used to coach at Xavier. He's now at Wake Forest. He knows about beating Cincinnati. Antoine Scott cut the lead to 8, but Steve Logan, the senior point guard for Cincinnati, is having an All-America season. He is so tough. Here the dish inside to Jason Maxwell. And Cincinnati looks so strong. 103-94, 13-1 against non-conference opponents. And Duke blows away Georgia Tech, 95-63 in Atlanta. Not much of a game there in the ACC. Meantime, Kentucky blows away LSU, 68-56. LSU's dropped 12 of their last 13 games. Ole Miss at home, in an emotionally charged game, beats Arkansas 79-67. Alabama, 6th in the country, their highest ranking ever, losing in Starkville. And Auburn, only their 2nd SEC victory, knocks off Georgia 75-72. Meantime, number 18, UCLA on the road in Philly, taking on Villanova. NBA All-Star game, little college hoops too. That was Billy Knight inside. Gary Buchanan, his 6th three-pointer of the game, pulls Nova within 1. They took the lead on free throws, and then Billy Knight a chance to win it for the Bruins. Not really a good shot. There was still time to perhaps pass a little bit, but the Wildcats and their fans celebrate a 58-57 win. Very big for the Wildcats. They now have 13 wins. Nice win against UCLA. They may need that towards the end of the season. 4 overtime thriller, Notre Dame, Georgetown. Chris Thomas in the 3rd overtime drives the lane, 101-97 Notre Dame. Still 3rd OT, Gerald Riley knocks down a big 3, pulls Georgetown within 2. They force the 4th overtime, and then the nice dish from Ryan Humphrey, our old Oklahoma buddy, to his teammate Jaden Cornett, and that made the final 116-111. 4 overtimes. You see there Cincinnati Bradley back in Peoria, Illinois. 7 overtimes, 1981, the NCAA record. That was a heck of a game. West Virginia at home losing to Seton Hall by 7, and Iowa losing 70-62. What has happened to the Hawkeyes and Steve Alford's bunch? Indiana wins at home against Louisville. Michigan wins their 10th game over Penn State. Boy, that was a hapless battle going on there in Ann Arbor. St. Louis beats Charlotte. Charlotte's never won in St. Louis, by the way. DePaul knocks off East Carolina 62-51. Kirk Heinrich shooting 70% from behind the three-point stripe. Here's another one against the Red Raiders. He's having an MVP season.
Time now for the Sonic Flashback, brought to you by Sonic, America's Drive-In. One of the top performances in Big 12 history came in 1999 when Texas Tech's Rayford Young took Kansas to school in the second half. Young scored 35 of his 41 points in the last 9 minutes of the game to give the Red Raiders a 90-84 upset over the 24th-ranked Jayhawks.
Welcome back to the American Century Halftime Report. Classroom Champ is brought to you by Phillips 66. When it comes to convenience and value, it's at the top of the class. And hats off to Marcelo De Barosa of Kansas State, a 4.0 GPA in engineering. When 2 teams from the same state play, it's a rivalry. When it's OU and O-State, it's bedlam. And that's the subject of the Southwestern Bell Big 12 conference call. This year's first meeting was in Norman. as the Sooners dominated the first half of play. Oklahoma State did make a run in the second half, but OU won 58-53. Now it's the rematch in Stillwater, and the Pokes consider this big-time rivalry.
It is Bedlam. It's probably one of the best rivalries we find in intercollegiate athletics in the United States.
You hear about the Dukes in North Carolina series and Michigan State, Michigan, all those guys, but Oklahoma State is one at the top.
And some of you will see the Bedlam series on Wednesday night on ESPN+, while others will see if Iowa State can end their 9-game losing streak in Ames against Colorado. We'll get back after the fog after this.
Halftime report, and at Allen Fieldhouse, Kansas puts 52 on the board before the half. 52-38 at halftime with Chris Piper, Dave Armstrong. They sputtered at first, the Jayhawks, but then they really hit the gas, and they did it with defense.
Well, they got it going on the defensive end. You know, Texas Tech 8 for 21 in the last 11 minutes of that half. Kansas did it on the defensive end.
Check out some highlights from the first half, brought to you by Shelter Insurance.
Well, Andy Ellis, his ability to take the ball from the outside and shoot the three. He gets 2 out of 2 there in the first half, but it was defense like we talked about for Kansas. And even when they have ugly possessions like this one, a couple passes, still Drew Gooden finishing up. He had 15 points in the first half.
For your life, home, car, farm, or business, Shelter Insurance will always be there for you. The leading point man in the game so far, Kirk Heinrich. 16 first half points. It's Kansas leading by 14. Kansas 52, Texas Tech 38. How did they get there? Let's examine some numbers from that first half. And the stats are brought to you by Jeep.
How about Kansas? 66%. They turned it up a little bit and also turned up the defense, dropped Texas Tech down below 50%. But both teams shooting a great percentage from the three-point line. Turnovers pretty close to even.
So what adjustments will Bobby Knight make at halftime?
Well, you know, one of the adjustments Kansas made in the first half is they brought in Langford off the bench, set Boshi down. He was having a tough time guarding this Texas Tech team. But Texas Tech's got to get back to what they were doing early. Good passing, good cuts, and setting hard screens inside. Powell, Sorozinski, 5 turnovers in the first half. They don't need that in the second half.
Powell got free and a foul on Heinrich. Now look at the leading scorers, Heinrich and Gooden, a 1-2 punch for KU. Dowdy and Emmett do the same for Texas Tech.
Big there. Texas Tech needs Andy Ellis to get more active inside. You know, although the thing that Texas Tech realizes their guards inside, Andre Emmett, Kasib Powell, have an advantage over the Kansas guards posting up. Aaron Miles, 5 assists there in the first half as well.
Kasib Powell completes the three-point play. Collison can hit on a lob pass inside. It goes out of bounds to Texas Tech. A good look from Gooden and his front court buddy, Nick Collison, but Collison couldn't get it to go down. That's the first time Collison has missed a shot today.
Drew Gooden, big points as far as points and rebounds, but how about assists as well? He averages over a couple assists a game. Nice passing inside for him.
Out of bounds, that will stay with the Red Raiders.
Little flip-flop there for Texas Tech. The big man outside throwing the ball inside to Andre Emmett. Again, posting up the Kansas guards and Kirk Heinrich.
Powell. Well, Powell's been the story for Texas Tech here in the second half. And now, it's Powell who went down after making the shot. Limping back into play.
Stepped on a foot as he came down from that jumper. A lot of contact for Texas Tech when they're shooting the ball. They've got to understand that here in the second half and be prepared for the contact when they go up. Let's watch Kasib Powell inside. Watch his right foot just kind of steps on Drew Gooden's toe there. It's a little twister. He'll go sit on the bench. Have somebody take a look at it.
Yeah, Mikey Marshall will replace him for the Red Raiders. Gooden. That won't go. Collison working hard. Goaltending. And Andy Ellis got it up as it was coming back down. Now from Allen Fieldhouse, a couple of top 25 teams. Texas Tech right at number 25. Kansas has been sitting at number 2 for a long time. With Chris Piper, I'm Dave Armstrong. Kansas really selfishly, they average over 20 assists a game as a team.
Well, it helps when you have a lot of possessions as well. Kansas generally gets about 65 shots on the basket. You can spread the wealth a little bit with that.
Collison. That won't go. Miles. That won't go as well. Marshall's got it for the Red Raiders.
You know, Texas Tech doing a great job without a point guard, but it is so evident that this Texas Tech team has got to have somebody be able to run the point position. A guy that's going to make plays, get this Texas Tech team in their motion offense that Bobby Knight wants to run. And they had success in the first 6 minutes against Kansas, but after that, it's been pretty tough for Tech to find an opening.
11-point Kansas lead. They've led by as many as 14. That was their halftime advantage. Gooden can't quite find the handle. That one off his fingertips. Another turnover for KU. They have now turned the ball over a dozen times today. Downey wanted it on the wing. Emmett tries to get some spacing. Gooden tips it to himself.
That's one of those plays that Kansas people know about Drew Gooden. Every once in a while, he's going to pull one up and you're going to say, what are you looking at? Then he's going to turn around and make a great play for it.
Heinrich, little side step, count it. What a subtle move in the paint.
That is all about maturity for Kirk Heinrich. Great decision. Instead of trying to force the play to his left here, he just reads the defense, sees that Mikey Marshall's waiting for the little drop pass. Instead, a little kick over to the right, shuffle over to the right, easy layup. You know, so many guards will think about what they're going to do, have it set in their mind at half court that they're going to pass it off to the left. Kirk Heinrich waited for the defense, reacted to it.
Heinrich twice in his career scored 26 in a game, including that last one we told you about earlier against Kansas State on Monday. He's got 19 right now, Heinrich. Whistle and a foul. But Boshi might have been hanging on.
I'll tell you what, Nathan Downey really knows how to use screens, run this motion offense for a freshman. A heck of a job. He sets up his defender, Jeff Boshi, rubs him off the screen. That time got Boshi in a position where he had to try and fight through the screens, got the foul called against him.
Boy, nice touch by Andy Ellis.
Andy Ellis, he has come so far since he was a freshman. All Big 12 as a freshman, but you know, he just has continued to get better for Texas Tech. Missed most of his sophomore season with that shoulder dislocation.
He throws it away. Miles, 2-on-1 with Boshi. Mikey Marshall just let him go. And now the biggest advantage for Kansas, it's up to 16. Look at the recovery by the Jayhawks defensively.
Now 3 white jerseys around Andre Emmett.
Gooden, here they come again. 3-on-1. Miles.
Well, Powell-Skorzynski really hurting Texas Tech right now, trying to make too many things happen inside, and Tech has forgotten where they were getting their points.
That'll quiet the run for Kansas, which was 11-2. Emmett for the basket.
Well, that's what Texas Tech has got to do, get Andre Emmett the ball inside, let him go one-on-one against Heinrich.
Well, this run coinciding with Kasif Powell having to go to the bench for that twisted ankle. Now Emmett. And Powell wants to come back in, but still looks like he's in pain.
Oh, nice move. Nick Collison. Little pivot. Take it with the left hand and immediately gave the tire signal.
Chris Kansas already has 4 players in double figures. Collison now has 10.
they have become just an absolute offensive scoring machine. When you score from 5 spots on the floor, you're going to get some points.
Emmett, no. Gooden with the rebound. What a pass by Miles. What a count it had it gone. What a pass by Aaron Miles. A no-look into Nick Collison. Wow.
Aaron Miles, his progression from the beginning of this season has just been phenomenal. He is probably going to end up as the Kansas all-time assist leader as a freshman, right on pace with Jacques Vaughn. But great decision-making there, giving Nick Collison the ball in a position that he's not too far away from the basket that he had to put the ball on the floor. He could just take it right up and draw the foul.
Miles with 6 assists today. That's right at his average for a game. Now Powell, as the official says, are you all right, as he comes limping in.
You don't generally see a guy limp into a game. He limps out. But Kasib Powell limped all the way over from the scorer's desk.
The general, Bobby Knight, needs him back in action.
I tell you what, that ankle's not going to hurt as much right now as it will tomorrow. So go ahead and get a little running on it, get the fluid going.
And as we watch Kasib Powell limp off, Kansas anything but limping. Looking mighty, the Jayhawks leading it by 18.
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big 12 Conference. Cooper Tires. Drive on.
Today's Big 12 game being brought to you by American Century, managing money for individuals and institutions for over 40 years. By Gatorade, First Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by Whataburger, just like you like it. Well, for the guys in the NBA, it's their all-star break. Scott Pollard, former Jayhawker, along with his wife, on hand here in Lawrence to watch this Kansas Jayhawk team. He was part of those Big 12 champions, 97-98, Scott Pollard. And another guy, Paul Pierce, along with Tony Battie from Texas Tech. Maybe they're watching at the all-star break together. They both play for the Celtics. Shropshire had it blocked from behind, but a foul on Miles.
Nice movement by Texas Tech that time in their offense. You know, you watch Nathan Dowdney out on the floor right now. He doesn't act like a freshman. He's yelling at guys, telling them where to go. At that time, he was having little words for Ronald Ross, telling him to get out of the way. Allow Marcus Shropshire the room to cut to the basket. Nathan Dowdney has not acted like a freshman here this afternoon. He really has been a guy that's been trying to lead this team on the floor.
And you see in the second half, Kansas picking up where they left off. Texas Tech is struggling more. Now, Kasib Powell, remember he went out for just a little while. Now he's getting that ankle retaped.
Yeah, he tried to come back on the floor, but when he was only walking with one leg, he kind of knew there was a problem. He looked like he needed crutches to get in the game and get back out. They're definitely going to miss him because, you know, what he does for Texas Tech at the guard spot gives him a guy with size that can handle the ball. He can take it inside as well. And this Texas Tech team right now really only 2 scorers on the floor, Andy Ellis and Nathan Dowdney.
And Ellis can't score there.
Well, we said it early, but we want to remind you again at Texas Tech, without Nick Valdez, who's 6'6" junior at home with a severe ankle sprain, and he was really given a lot of minutes, especially as of late in Big 12 play, and it's a guard spot.
And Andre Emmett playing with a bum knee right now. Dowdney with a three-pointer. What a day for Nathan Dowdney. And for Dowdney now, he's got 14 points. Heinrich tried to answer with a 3 of his own. Ellis would have counted had it gone. A foul on Carey. Jeff Carey with the foul. One of a few seniors
good quality minutes in the first half, but he only played 9 minutes. And I wonder if Roy Williams, concerned about the matchup problems that Jeff Boschee was having defensively on the floor.
Coach Williams this year has gone really more to a 7-8-man rotation, as in the past where he's had 10 guys that have rotated in and out.
That's exactly right, but that's what Kansas has as far as guys that are going to give them good quality minutes. They can go further down the bench if they have to, but they really haven't had to. And 8 guys is really about as much as you want to have. Now, Kansas has gone 9, has gone 10. It's not been something that they've liked to do, but they've had guys that they had to have minutes.
Langford frees himself for the shot. And they have guys that can create their own shots. They work well within the system, but they also have guys that can put it on the floor and get free on their own. Dragged down by Shropshire, whips a pass in. Nice play as he gets it to Mahalik. But Shropshire, he threw a fastball in there. Here comes Dowden to Shropshire. Good ball movement, but just enough defensively, Boschee.
Well, not a good shot there by Jeff Boschee in transition. Really had nobody underneath the basket. It's a little up and down right now. The pace that Kansas definitely likes.
I think Coach Knight liked that last shot by Shropshire. No.
Well, right now, Texas Tech is short on bodies.
Boschee, that's a 2-pointer. And his foot on the line. And Coach Knight, live it now as Kansas lighten it up. 75-58. Remember, Texas Tech led by 7. That was in the first half, and then Kansas went on that run, and they haven't looked back.
Well, early Texas Tech was able to get movement against Kansas's defense. Kansas's defense, to be honest with you, was really running about a 50% level. They turned it up a little bit, and Texas Tech has really had a problem finding opportunities to score, but they're looking at guys right now that they're not used to having score. Andy Ellis is sitting on the bench. Sid Powell is sitting on the bench. Nick Valdez is sitting at home on the couch in Lubbock, Texas. They have squeezed as much as they can out of Nathan Downey.
Really have. Downey with 14 today. Emmett also 14. Powell and Ellis each with a dozen. But right now it's Kansas who has the advantage. 15 points over Texas Tech. Back after this from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company.
From Studio 66, check this out. Minnesota against Iowa. Rick Rickard, a double-double. The big guy is so tough for the Gophers, who are now just 1 game out of first place, 86-78. Steve Alford talked to Coach Knight this week. Apparently didn't do any good, guys.
I guess not. Certainly not. Well, Minnesota, one of the surprise stories for the Big Ten Conference. Kansas here leading 75-60, 11-13 to go, and it has Bobby Knight scratching his head, trying to figure out a way for his team to claw back into this one.
Well, he's going to figure out a score. He's got Andy Ellis and Sid Powell on the bench. Right now, the combined average of this Texas Tech team that's on the floor is about 10 points.
Miles, no. And the rebound taken by Texas Tech. Ross running the length of the court. What a play by Ross. And now they're going to say no basket. One of the Texas Tech players touched the net when it was in the cylinder. And Bobby Knight is livid.
Well, Ross just beating everybody down for Kansas. Let's watch Storazinski and see if he touches the rim. And he grabs the rim a little bit. Just a little deflection. And the reaction. Another thing Bobby Knight's got to be most upset about right now is he finally got an easy bucket in the layup, and they had it taken away.
Well, he's got another shot at it. time. Now only a 13-point Kansas lead. They led by 20 not too long ago. Gooden, 2-point attempt, no. Collison right there, good position.
Nick Collison just too fast inside for Mahalik. Got the inside position. Just waited for the ball to come off the rim. I'm Texas Tech right now. I'm trying to set screens for Nathan Downing.
Mismatch. Shropshire being guarded by Collison. Dowden can't hit the three. Sorozinski tracks it down. Now Ross goes around Collison, and that'll be goaltending. So count the basket for Ronald Ross, and Ross trying to guide these Texas Tech Red Raiders back into play. 77-64 right now. Bobby Knight urging his troops. And look at shooting the rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock, and Kansas now down to 59% today, 51% for the year. They're the leading field goal shooting team in the nation.
Watch Nathan Downing work in this offense of Texas Tech. Trying to get guys to set them screens, read the screens.
Now the concern for Texas Tech is with Sorozinski going to the line, the concern is about Sid Powell and Andre Emmett. Emmett came in banged up. Powell with a hurt ankle here in the second half. And Powell was the guy who came out of that locker room. He was doing the most damage. Bobby Knight, that conversation he is having with one of the officials, that is all about that goaltending call or offensive basket interference call when Bobby Knight thought that Ronald Ross's basket should have counted when Sorozinski came in and grabbed the rim in the net. Sorozinski hits the free throw.
Well, the problem was it really wasn't as much a grab as a tap, but any contact is ruled goaltending.
And now he wants to visit with Mahalik as Collison beats Mahalik down the court. The conversation with Sorozinski as well.
The guy that just got fouled runs right by you. That's what we're trying to tell you. We're trying to tell you to get back and pick up the first guy. The guy goes...
Crowd almost hushed just so they could eavesdrop in on the conversation between Knight and Sorozinski. It was almost like a golf match in here for a moment.
Kansas closing in on the 100 mark again. A mismatch right now. Downey being guarded by Nick Collison.
Good pass. Sorozinski, though, can't hit the chip shot.
And they're going to get it back.
And now it's Coach Williams who is upset. He came flying off the bench after Miles threw a pass out of the end zone. 80-65, Kansas under 9 to go. Back after this from your friends at Phillips 66, the Performance Company. Today's Big 12 game brought to you by Phillips 66. We put the best in our super clean gasoline so you get the most out of your car. Think smart, think performance, think Phillips 66. And Roy Williams wants his team just to think right now.
Yeah, 16 turnovers doesn't have him very happy at all. Watch this last time out. Trying to get a little point across right now to Aaron Miles after that pass. A little bit long. That was a long time out for Aaron Miles sitting there watching Roy Williams.
Yeah, it sure was. A little full court pressure by Kansas. Shropshire. Oh, boy, what a play by Shropshire.
What a pass from Mahalik. Yeah, through traffic. I don't think anybody saw it for Kansas.
Now lead for Kansas down to 13. And then a whistle and a foul on Mahalik trying to hold Collison out of the paint.
Now Mahalik, a 7-foot freshman out out of Tulsa. He's only played in 10 games this season so far. This is number 11 for him, so he hasn't actually been the number 1 solution off the bench for Texas Tech.
Andy Ellis sitting over on that bench right now.
Andy Ellis sitting over there for a little lack of box out on more than one occasion.
Shropshire, no. Ross with a good rebound, and Kansas let him go. Ross again and again and again can't hit. Now Dowdney. Shropshire got the 3. If at first you don't succeed, it's Texas Tech coming on now. It's Coach Williams who's got to beat.
Now Marcus Shropshire, he started and had 32 minutes last year against this Kansas team, and he's been called up to give him some minutes here this afternoon. He's another guy that really hasn't seen a lot of action either.
Dowdney kind of off balance, and Storozinski wrapped up by Gooden. Oh, and Storozinski, he's got a cut on the back of his head. He is bleeding profusely from his head, and here's the collision. Look at the cut on the back of Storozinski's noggin. Oh, my.
But elbows are sharp weapons. When you get somewhere on the head, it looks a lot worse than it generally is. A lot of blood early.
Easy for you to say.
You had a few.
I bet you have.
Get the cut man in. We're going to have to take Storozinski in. And that is not good news for Texas Tech, as they have been shorthanded. Andre Emmett now coming back in the game. So, you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say one thing, you know, when you play for Bobby Knight, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're not playing your best, you're going to sit on the bench.
Well, let's see if we can see exactly how the cut occurred. Oh, right there. Ow. Oh, boy.
Gooden a couple front teeth there.
No wonder Gooden was wrapped up with Storozinski. Now he's checking his teeth. He still has all his dentures. Storozinski. He's being patched up. Going to the line will be Emmett to shoot for Storozinski.
You can ask Hollis Price at Oklahoma all about teeth wounds. That wound he got last year in the NCAA tournament against Indiana State, Keelan Block. That is not a fun one.
Now that injury, the actual part of the tooth wound up in the arm of Hollis Price. He had a couple of off-season surgeries to correct the problem. Emmett hits the free throw, and just like that, we head to the corner. The cut man is working. Texas Tech is working on a 7-0 run to pull within 9. Now Coach Williams trying to urge his troops. They led by 20. The lead down to 9 for Kansas. Take a look at the Suzuki top performer. Man, it's Drew Gooden of the Jayhawks, who most likely will be the Big 12 Conference Player of the Year. Find out who the top performers of the season are. Suzuki presents ESPN the Magazine's College Basketball Awards during Final Four week in Atlanta. Well, during that last time out, Storozinski, they couldn't repair the damage on the bench. He headed to the locker room to try to stitch things up. And not only that, but Sid Powell is sitting over on that bench with his ankle on ice. Boshi can't hit. Mahalik going for the rebound. We've got a whistle and a foul. I think is going to go on Mahalik. So Mahalik with the foul, trying to fight Collison for that rebound.
thank you to Nick Collison, because Drew Gooden just absolutely got left in the dust by Andre Emmett. Went right around him, but Nick Collison, great weak side help coming up, stepping in for the charge.
And now back to the classroom for Bobby Knight and Andre Emmett. 7 fouls on Texas Tech, 1-1 for Collison. He'll get the bonus.
Collison, of all the things in his game that you wouldn't expect that would struggle, 56% from the free throw line. He actually shoots 60% from the field.
18 today for Collison.
Well, Texas Tech, they need to work Andy Ellis and Nathan Doudney. They're standing around right now by Texas Tech. They got to get movement.
Takes it away from Collison. Heinrich counts the basket, and he is fouled by Mahalik, who wasn't quite set.
Well, you got to be ready to get back against Kansas. Mahalik coming over, and boy, that's a close one. Texas Tech won the charge.
Ooh, that was close.
I don't know if Mahalik wasn't there. The big fella, 7 foot, you almost got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He hustles that hard to get over there. That's a lot of movement.
Well, since the last time out, it's been all Kansas. They're on a 6-0 run since the timeout.
Boy, tough pass.
Miles picks it off. Heinrich ahead of the field.
They just cannot go to sleep against Kansas. They might not beat you down the floor 9 out of 10 times, but that one time, it's going to be an easy 2.
And Doudney, he is fouled, so he'll go to the line.
You know, moving Heinrich to the off-guard spot allows him to run the floor like this. Otherwise, he's the guy back there, like Aaron Miles, catching the outlet pass. He is so fast down the floor. That combination between Miles and Heinrich is extremely potent for Kansas.
Doudney can't hit the free throw. Doudney was a very good shooter, just 2 of 9 from the line this year. That's amazing.
He shoots the ball from the outside. Look at the inside-out comparison, Ellison and Doudney. Doudney's the guy that's been successful there. Andy Ellis has not had any points here in the second half, I don't think, except for maybe in the first 2 minutes of the second half.
He hasn't. 12. That's what he had at halftime. Heinrich for 3. Gooden. What a putback.
Well, when you got Ronald Ross trying to box out Drew Gooden inside, you're going to lose that battle.
Gooden again. Heinrich throws it to Boschee, but fouled before all that. So Heinrich will go to the line.
Well, Drew Gooden coming off a subpar rebounding game for him against Kansas State. Only had 5, but look at the movement for Drew Gooden. At the beginning of that, we saw him at the top of the key, went right to the basket, got the offensive rebound. He's got 8 rebounds here this afternoon.
So Heinrich with a new career high, 27, make it 28 now for Heinrich. 28 points for Heinrich, and Kansas on a 12-run run to lead by 20 again. All of a sudden, I mean, there was Texas Tech knocking on the door, just 9 back, and now it's a 20-point advantage for KU. Doudney can't hit. Boschee. Boy, good English off the glass.
But it's a track meet for Kansas right now. This team on the floor for Texas Tech not getting back, and that's the thing that should be their strength right now. Only one big man on the floor, and Andy Ellis. They got 4 guards out there. They shouldn't get beat going down the floor.
And Coach Knight agrees with you. And he wants to talk things over as Kansas. They pull out the full arsenal over the last 2 minutes and 18 seconds since that last time out. Kansas outscored Texas Tech
tough to Jeff Boschee, allow him to make it into a one-on-one situation there. But you know, this Texas Tech team on the floor, a small team, they've got to be able to get back and stop that Kansas transition.
Well, who can stop these Jayhawks? I know that in the Jayhawk camp, they don't really want to talk about going unbeaten in the Big 12, but everybody else around the conference is talking about it. Let's take a look at our best play of the game, brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. The best part is our people.
Kirk Heinrich this afternoon, 28 points, 9 for 13, and then Drew Gooden, his counterpart, getting inside and getting the offensive rebound. When Kansas is on the offensive glass, they're as good as anybody. That goes without saying. I guess it's their number 2 in the country.
Good and plenty. Well, that's for sure. And Kansas has plenty. Gooden today, 19 points, 9 rebounds. Heinrich, a career-high 28. Collison, a quiet 18.
He kind of gets lost in the shuffle. I think that Nick Collison makes Drew Gooden so much better because you can't double team on Drew Gooden in the post, because if you do, you're going to have Nick Collison available to catch the ball inside, and he will score on you.
I don't get a vote, but if I did, I would vote Heinrich, Collison, and Gooden to the All-Big 12 team at this point.
Well, it's hard-pressed to find better 3 players than those guys in the league. Storazinski back in.
Stitches later. He finds Ross, but that was blocked by Gooden. And then knocked out of bounds. It'll go to Kansas. A run for the Jayhawks. And after that last time out, that's when Texas Tech got within striking distance. Collison counted if it goes, but no, he'll go to the line.
Well, that run started as well when Storazinski got within striking distance of Drew Gooden's teeth and had to go out of the game. All of a sudden, Kansas really turned it up. Now, Kansas is a team that is so potent. I mean, just on a normal series, they can score so many points, but then they'll throw a little defense on you as well, and they're scoring 14, and you're not scoring any. 95 points, Dave, and there's 4 minutes left.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, the last 3 games, 98, 100, and 105 points in those 3.
Well, a turnover underneath the basket against Kansas State would have given Kansas actually their 3rd 100-point game in a row in the Big 12 Conference, which would have been a record for them.
They won that game, 98-71. Easy pickings for Collison.
Jesus Arena, 6'4" senior in the game.
And what a pass by Miles to Gooden. Collison started it with the block. Collison to Miles to Gooden. Wow. Air ball by Storazinski. And it looks like Bobby Knight's going to fall to 1 and 6 versus Roy Williams. A run for Kansas, running on all cylinders. And back after this from your friends at Phillips 66. And for Bobby Knight, he knows he has to keep coaching his team. What a job he has done. 5-4 in this conference. They go to 5-5 after today's outing. But he is being considered as National Coach of the Year. And for American Century, on the money player of the game, no doubt, Kirk Heinrich.
How about that? 28 points. I mean, when you talk about him every game, you talk about how great he's playing. When he comes out the next game, he plays even better. He just gets better and better with each game.
Storazinski with another foul, charging in. I bet you half of the Texas Tech fouls today are on charges.
Well, you know, against Kansas, it is so tough to take the ball, put it on the floor, and take it all the way to the basket. You've got to be able to pull up, shoot the little 7-foot jumper. They will find somebody to get underneath and take a charge from you at some point.
Heinrich looking like he might be done for the day with 3:40 to go, and Kansas now comfortably ahead. Carey hits the free throws. They'll hit 100 again. Well, they won't get there on this trip to the line. And Miles will sit down. With Kansas, they'll go to 10-0 with their win today, and Texas Tech will drop to 5-5, but still very respectable, and hovering around Texas and Missouri was placed tonight at Baylor. And Oklahoma, second best team in the conference right now at 8-2.
Tell you what, I don't know that anybody's going to be able to stop Kansas and Oklahoma at this point, but the battle for the 3 and the 4 spot in this league is going to be a good one.
Today's Big 12 game brought to you by American Century, managing money for individuals and institutions for over 40 years. By Whataburger, just like you like it. Phillips 66, where we put the best in our super clean gasoline so you get the most out of your car. Think smart, think performance, think Phillips 66. By SBC Southwestern Bell, we're on it. And by Advance Auto Parts, the best part is our people. Bobby Knight and his Texas Tech Red Raiders gave Kansas a bit of a scare both in the first and second half. But in each case, Kansas responded with an impressive run. With Kansas leading it 99-72. Dowdney's had a career game today. Tech with only one field goal in the last 5 minutes of this game.
Well, notable by their absence in this Texas Tech lineup right now, Andy Ellis and Andre Emmett have seen a lot of bench time here in the second half.
Sid Powell on that bench with his ankle wrapped in ice. And this time it'll be Texas Tech going to the line. Well, the big challenge for the Jayhawks coming up Monday night as they head down to Austin, Texas to meet Texas Longhorns, led by the freshman TJ Ford, who's leading the country in assists.
How about that? 8 assists a game. We've got some players on that team. You know, everybody keeps asking me about Kansas, whether they can run the table. The game that I've continued to point at is a game at Texas. Texas plays such a tough defense, and if they can get Kansas into more of a slow-down game, keep them down in the 70s, I have a chance in that game.
Well, Texas coming off a win today over Colorado, in which the Longhorns scored 104 points.
How about that? Texas got a few good big men inside. James Thomas. How about the loss of Chris Owens, though? Boy, that is just too bad. He was playing so well for Texas. What as strong of players you're going to see inside.
Ballard for 3. That puts them over 100.
Ballard's second 3 on the year.
Here comes Ballard again. Stolen away. Good play by Ross, all by his lonesome. Oh, and he missed the jam. That'll get him out of the game. Lee lost the handle. Ross playing on borrowed time right now.
He is. He might want to just keep on going to the locker room.
Whistle, and we're going to have a substitution. Bobby Knight just waiting for Ronald Ross to join him over on the sideline. And going to the line will be Marshall.
Ronald Ross doing his best not to look over to the bench right now. But he knows the time has to come.
Sit there, take it.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yes, sir. Mr. Knight, sir. Yes, sir, Coach Knight. Drop try, just throws it up off the glass.
Well, you know, Dave, Brian Nash, another big shot from the outside. Coming into this game, and you don't really know what to expect. You think it could end up like this because of Texas Tech's depth and their lack of quickness at the guard spot. But at the same time, you feel like that Texas Tech's got a chance to keep it close. The way they play the game, play the great defense, the motion offense.
Kansas has scored all year, 108. It came against North Dakota. They're knocking on that door with a minute to go. Slap try, that's off target, but boy, he coaxed it home. That was off to the right, but he was able to nestle it into the basket. Even Chris Zerbe can score. Only his second field goal of the year, and that matches the high point total for Kansas this year. It'll go to KU. And they can just dribble out the clock. Kansas will go to 21-2, 10-0 in the conference. Well, that team in 70-71, led by Bud Stallworth, they ran the table in the old Big 8 conference, and that team went on to the Final Four. Cassidy picking the pocket.
Another good player on that team by the name of Dave Robish.
That's true.
Too shabby for Kansas.
Now the Jayhawks at 10-0. Up next for them, as we mentioned, at Texas on Monday night. The 8th straight win for Kansas, and they are playing their best basketball of the year over the last couple of weeks.
No question. You know, a little different game for them here this afternoon. Not quite as dominating, but then when you look at the scoreboard and you see the end result, Kansas getting it done.
Really got it done today. Roy Williams talked with Coach Knight, and I'm sure Coach Knight said something like, wow, you've got some kind of team. For Chris Piper, Dave Armstrong saying so long from Lawrence as we get you to Doug Bell in Studio 66.
Dave and Chris, thank you. As you see here, Kansas is the last of the major conference teams to have an undefeated record. Xavier from the A-10, Princeton, Hampton, Alcorn State, Pepperdine. We'll consider those mid-majors, but Kansas at 10-0, their first 10-0 start in conference play in 31 years. Of course, Oklahoma 2 games behind the Jayhawks. They still have hopes, but of course, Kansas has to get beat. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Oklahoma on the road at College Station today against the Aggies, who've had a couple of big wins themselves this season. Aaron McGee from the corner knocks it down for OU. They're up by 12. Then Ebby Arad, nice crossover. Arad so tough. They made it 50-41. Then McGee. A lot of bodies flying. This was a very physical game in College Station. It was kind of like a football game in underwear. Oklahoma wins 68-64. And the remaining schedule for the Sooners, here's how it looks. The Bedlam series continues next week, February 13th. And then K-State, Texas at home. The Texas game is going to be a battle at Baylor, Iowa State. You see very winnable games, but every game in the Big 12 is a tough game. Oklahoma 2 games back. Of course, Texas not far out of the fray themselves. Speaking of the Longhorns, early this morning, 11 o'clock Central Time, they were tipping off against Colorado. TJ Ford likes those early wake-up calls here on the drive. That made it a 12-point game. Then TJ pulls up, hits the jumper. We're used to him dishing the ball. Today, shooting more. He did what the defense gave him. The nice dish inside. A double-double for the young man from Houston. 22 points, 12 assists. Texas 104 points. They did have 102 back on January 12th against Baylor. Kansas State at Nebraska earlier today on ESPN Plus, our Big 12 network, and this was Nebraska from way downtown, Kerry Cohorn. So good. Nebraska's so good. Playing at home, nice crowd on hand. Brennan Clemens drives for the layup. Count it and the foul. That made it 79-63. Then Jake Muehlheisen nails the 3, and the Huskers with an impressive win, 99-82. So as we mentioned, Kansas on top, looking for their first Big 12 regular season title since 1998. They still have some work to do, but at 10-0, they're looking good. As we look at the standings, Kansas 10-0, 21-2 overall. Oklahoma 8-2, 19-3. Perhaps both will be #1 seeds come NCAA tournament time. Texas right there at 3rd, followed by Mizzou, Oklahoma State, and Texas Tech now at 5-5. There you see the bottom 6. It's really just a brawl, a scrum. Colorado, Nebraska at 4-6, and down the line. Big 12 battles continue. Elsewhere, around the country now, #1 Duke. Kansas trails Duke in the rankings. And Jason Williams, he has a sore groin, but it certainly didn't stop him today in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. Mike Dunleavy, more of the same for Duke. They just keep rolling. You look at Kansas, you look at Duke, two teams that, boy, if they played each other, what a track meet that would be. Maybe they'll meet in the finals. Duke 95, Georgia Tech 63. Getting ahead of ourselves, but they look so good. Cincinnati thinks they could be Final Four material. Inside it goes at Wake Forest. Stevie Logan, the senior guard, had a sensational game today. 30 points for Logan and 9 assists. The dish inside to Jason Maxwell. And Cincinnati wins 103-94. You see Logan 30-7. Not a bad game for the senior leader for Bob Huggins' Bearcats. Vandy against Florida. Florida in Gainesville leading 28-24. Florida thinks they can keep up with the Kansas and Dukes of the world. They can run. We shall see. Kentucky at LSU today. Oh, the Bayou Bengals have really slumped as of late. Jules Kamara inside to start the second half, and Chucky Hayes, the freshman out of Cincinnati, gets it to roll. 51-35 the score. Tayshaun Prince inside after a nice dish from Cliff Hawkins. Prince wound up with 18 points on the day. Kentucky comfortably won 68-56. Ole Miss in a physical, revved up game against Arkansas wins. Alabama loses in Stark Vegas to Mississippi State 76-62. Auburn only their second SEC win. They upset Georgia at home 75-72. Big Ten scores now. The Illini rallying. They were down by as many as 23 against Purdue. It's now a 12-point game at the half. Check that 8-point game. And Minnesota only a game out of first behind Ohio State and Indiana. Indiana wins out of conference 77-62. Jared Jeffries played despite a very sore groin injury. And Michigan wins over Penn State, their 10th win of the season for Tommy Amaker's Wolverines. UCLA, 18th ranked Bruins lose in Philadelphia 58-57. Tomorrow the NBA All-Star game. The college guys took center stage today. Big win for Villanova. They have 13 wins in the season. They needed a win against a team high in the RPI. They got it today against UCLA. Well, Kansas, very impressive once again against Texas Tech. 108-81. We'll be back to wrap things up in Studio 66 after this. 30 will count to either Nebraska at Iowa State or Kansas State at Oklahoma. And then in Game 2, you'll see either Baylor at Kansas or Texas Tech at Colorado. We'll see what happens in those games. See you next week. The proceeding has been a presentation of ESPN+, the worldwide leader in collegiate sports.